Hi, April here with Aaliyah Creative. Welcome back to my channel. So excited. Today we are going to be swatching some metallic watercolors, and I am so excited about these. These were my part of my Christmas present. They are the Vivia color sheets, which are a dye-based travel-friendly watercolor. This is my third set of these. Not sponsored, not affiliated. I just absolutely love these. Love the portability. As you can see, they come in this fantastic little book with the little protectors in between so that the colors don't smear together. A little fold out panel where you can mix your colors. Now, this is one of the smaller sets because it is metallics, and I love me some metallics. Drop a comment below if you are also a huge fan of metallics and shiny things, but have possibly been disappointed, like I have, with metallic watercolor paints. Does it stop me from buying them? Absolutely not. So I am excited to share these with you today. It is also going to be a chatty little video. We're going to do a different type of swatching with this, and in an upcoming video, I will show you the finished results. I'm going to be doing this in my gratitude journal, and it is a traveler's notebook, and I'm fastening it here with a bobby pin because that's what I have handy, and surprisingly, it actually worked good just to hold those pages back out of my way. I do apologize that apparently we have gotten a little crooked and off screen here. That tends to happen from time to time. And while we're just staring at this blank page, I am gathering my supplies. I'm just grabbing out a couple of watercolor brushes and my little water. I love this little jar. It's just, first of all, it has a lid so my cats won't spill it, which is very important. We lost a sticker book this week to cat spillage. But I just pour the water into one of my little cups, which this is a cup I reused from Aldi. They have these little tiny desserts that are fantastic, and I like the little jars for water cups. So fun. So we're going in strong here. Now, normally I will go through and it has a little place on the swatch where you can swatch out the color. I was so excited to get into these that I just forgot all about that. So I'm going right in with this beautiful metallic orangey red color here. And let me see the name of it on that first color. Okay, so it's ruby red, even though it is coming across as, wait, no, because I don't ever start where it's normal. That top color is fire, and it is very glittery, followed by Java, which, or lava, which is similar. So instead of doing little swatches where I write them and name them, I'm doing something a little bit different here, just going in and playing with the color. Because I really wanted to see it not just in like a little splotch, but I wanted to see what the colors actually do. Now, because this is a dye-based watercolor, it does work sometimes a little bit differently, I feel, than a regular watercolor in some aspects. But, and I actually find using them with the water brushes instead of a traditional paintbrush can work a little bit better. I find that you use less paint that way. You know me. If you watch me and all, you know that if there's one thing I'm going to do, it is going to be to use way too much of a product. Be it paint, glue, whatever, glop it on. Not good with leaving white space. I don't think I leave any white space on this page, but the point is to swatch out these colors. So here I am going in and dabbing in some more in this corner, and I'm creating just this really vibrant page. Now, I will say, as you shift the colors, like when it's dry, you can really see the metallic. And it does come through. Now, it comes through better on some colors than others. But what I like about these is they are vibrant colors, because a lot of times with metallics, it's so sheer and pastel that it's harder to see. Now, this is the gold. So the gold is fantastic because it is just this subtle shimmer. Now, I'm not a huge fan of gold, but I do like this a lot, and I think I'm gonna find that I'll be using this. So this palette, it only has 10 colors, and there are duplicates. So it gives you two of the silver and two of the gold. And so as I play around it with this, I'm going to show you some of the ways that you can use these silver and gold metallics. Now you can see as I have put it on here, you can see that slight shimmer does show up right on the white page, but I actually love to use these metallics over darker or lighter colors. So the silver works really good on top of the blues, and then the golds will work really great on top of some of the reds and pinks, and it just gives you some fantastic shimmer. So here I decided to go in with the green. We're using the green is the jade, I believe, and it's very pretty. There is another palette that has a spring green, which is a very similar color, and I feel like there is another color in one of the palettes that I have that is metallic that is very similar. But when I swatched them side by side, I didn't do it here in this spot. There is a subtle difference, but you do have some colors that are very similar from palette to palette on these color sheets. But I really like taking these out and doing nature journaling or journaling on the go. I've taken them with me several places that I've gone this week, but I didn't actually do any journaling. My plans just shifted, and it didn't work out the way that I thought it would, as is life. But I'm going in with the vibrant blue. This is a beautiful sapphire color, and as you can see, there is also an aurora color beside it, which is that blue green color. And these two colors play very, very nicely together. As you can see, my paper's quite liquidy, quite wet, and I am piling on a lot of paint. It does really well on this type of paper. Now, again, I will say that the Traveler's Notebook paper, it is a little bit different than your standard watercolor paper, but that's okay. I actually like what this paint does on that paper, and I like using this paint on non-watercolor paper, which I think is really great for travel because watercolor paper is the quality, can be really thick and heavy, and sometimes, that's not handy to carry around thick paper with you wherever you go. So I do like that I can use this on a variety of surfaces. Here I'm trying to kind of blend it out to see if I can break up some of those dark shifts in color. And fun reminder, people, I am not a professional watercolor artist. I love watercolor. I love playing with watercolor. It is one of the hardest mediums. If I sit down and follow a tutorial, I can do amazing things with watercolor. Left to my own devices, sometimes the result is not exactly like I want, but the point is I love playing with it. Now here's where I'm going in with that silver. Now, I made the mistake that I often make of not wiping my brush off. The best way to use these is if every time you're changing a color, you're wiping your brush off, wetting it, wiping your brush off so that you don't get that cross contamination of colors. But again, this is just a swatch page, so I just went full on, and there you can see all the shimmer and the shift. I'm very happy with these. I really, really love them. I can see me using them on the go. I can see using these colors kind of as on top of other types of artwork to add a little shimmer, possibly even mixing these with some of the other color sheet colors to see what kind of mix I can get going. So it's really fun. This video is not going to show you, it's going to show you the end swatch of this page, but it isn't going to show you what I end up doing with that. So I will show that in another video when I'm finished with it, because this is my gratitude journal. It's a little bit personal. Basically, what I do is just very mindfully sit down and reflect on things that I'm grateful for, things that bring me joy, and create different spreads doing that. And I try for it to be, it's not something I do on camera because it's something where I'm really, the focus is on being mindful and bringing up true gratitude and true joy and not just writing down things I'm thankful for, which is powerful. And I do that in other journals. But for this one, I try to be very mindful. So this part is just creating, swatching, making the background, and then I will go in and add in what I'm going to do with these pages, which presents a bit of a challenge because this is very, very vibrant, right? So obviously, writing, drawing over this is going to be a bit of a challenge. Here I'm showing kind of how we can mix using that little flap there. Oh, and then pressing it in to do some, because I didn't really get the color that I was wanting, but then I was like, ooh, that looks cool. So I was like, let's turn it upside down, press it on. No, it's something I had planned to do, just something that came about intuitively. But I will show you in a later video what I end up doing with this page. I wondered how the colors would work, like actually trying to kind of doodle with them. So I'm going in and doing some little swirls and some dots, something to add to the page. But overall, very fun to use these. I am so excited that I got them for Christmas. It was the gift for my kids. They basically just gave me money to go and use at the little craft place, which is my favorite place to get craft stuff and stickers and journals. And so I went and I purchased two things, which was that you saw at the beginning of the video, which is an Archer and Olive journal that I will show, probably make a little short just of that unboxing and what I'm doing with that. It is going to be my whimsy journal, and which is a new project that I've started for the year called the Whimsy Project. And I'm very excited to share more about that in some future videos. It's very early in the process, so I don't want to go into it too much. And here I really am just playing and showing off the page. This is what we ended up. This was our swatch process. Now, I do end up doing some more detailed swatching. This, I just wanted to play with the paints and swatch them around. Now we're pulling out that lovely Archer and Olive, my whimsy journal. And in the back, I did decide to swatch these out in a more traditional way. And I only swatch out this particular book of colors here, but I actually went in and added in all of my Vivia watercolors sheets, so all three of them. So I went with test page and I decided to do hearts in order to swatch them out. So this is two different ways that you can do swatches. Now this method is really great if you want to look back and have like a record, like say, because with these Vivia color water sheets, I do recommend swatching the color directly under them. They have a place for that on that, like I talked about before, which I failed to do this time because the colors do appear differently on here than they do when you swatch them out. You know, a great example of that is the oranges and the reds. You know, they're significantly different. That fire color definitely comes out way different than it looks from the swatch or from the actual paint. So here I'm going in and naturally I'm going to misspell the name of, of the product because that is just me. And if you watched me for a while, you know that when we are journaling, we do not worry about things like spelling and perfectly straight lines because we don't have time for that, right? If you are a very precise person and always spell things right, I think that's fabulous. But I don't have time for it, right? I can spell a word correct in one sentence and wrong in the next. It's just a superpower of mine, guys. I don't know. Are you I'm a lot better than I used to be. I really credit that to Grammarly, again, not sponsored, but just because I don't like the lines that it makes when I misspell a word wrong. And so after so many years of going back and correcting those, it's like got made me better at spelling, but I don't worry about it. I misspelled Vivia, and I misspelled metallics, and yeah, that's how we roll. So here I'm just doing some wonky little hearts. I also started out putting in all these little dots up ahead. I felt like the top of the page needed something. I quickly abandoned this because obviously there's not enough space to swatch out all of the colors. So I go in, create the hearts, and then I'll go back and add in the names, which I also managed to mess up my own system. But that's okay because this was really just for fun. And I think that you can do swatching a lot of different ways. And I think the most important thing is to think about your purpose. What's your purpose of swatching? Is it to actually just play with the colors and try them out, see how they work on a specific paper? Or is it so that you'll have a reference point so that you can look back at the colors? I'm going to be straight up honest with you. I do not look back at these swatch pages as a reference. It is just not something I do. The only exception to that is going to be with my alcohol markers. Um, I actually do use the swatch references on that because the color lids are so far off. But with these, I can pretty much just dab on some water, look at the swatch that's underneath, and get a pretty true representation of what the color is. So these swatch pages, they are really just me playing with paint in different ways. And I think it's a fun way to fill up journal pages too. So if you're ever at a point where you don't necessarily want to sit down and do a spread, you don't necessarily know what to do, prompts aren't necessarily working for you, then you can always go through your existing supplies and make a swatch page. Man, look at that gold. Isn't that gorgeous? I am loving it. Absolutely. From the person who claims they don't like gold. I am all over the place, guys. I'm so excited that you are here with me. I hope that you had a fabulous Christmas and a fabulous New Year's Eve. I am so excited that we are leaving 2025 behind. It was such a hard year for me. Truly, truly difficult. Truly, truly not something I want to go through again, but I did learn so much and I grew as a person, and my journaling has come a long way in the last year. I there's a lot to be thankful for about this previous year, but I'm very excited to be going into a new year and again just having that fresh start, which I'm the type of person who will have a fresh start all year round, whenever I decide that I'm ready for a fresh start. But wrapping up those calendar years, it feels good. It feels like an accomplishment. I love the reflection on that. I have done a lot of that in my Archer and Olive mindset journal that I've been keeping for quite some time. It's not one that I've shared on here, it's very personal, but I do think that I'm at a place where I may want to share it because it has really been helpful for me. I really like how some of the spreads have come out. It is a lot of introspective, a lot of planning type things, manifesting, money mindset work that I've been doing and documenting that process and seeing how I've gone has been really fun. All right, guys, thank you again so much for watching. Enjoy your day. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And most important, go create something you deserve it. Bye.